it's sort of all over the spectrum. I mean, for me, I don't know about like authors necessarily, but like I'm really influenced by a lot of stuff like that George Norrie would have on his radio show Coast to Coast, but also just like you know, listening to NPR and following like world politics. I think that's kind of like a lot of the, I guess, literary inspiration.
What influences me more, like, especially if you think politically or anything like that, is what's going on locally. Like, I'm from Los Angeles, and like the community is actually important to me, you know, and
as it should be, right?
Yeah, it totally is. So that I always draw influence from that, you know, like what's going on.
What's that Gang of Four song? It's slipping my mind right now.
Damaged Goods.
Yeah, Damaged Goods.
The whole album, Entertainment.
Fuck yeah, that whole album.
Yeah. That shit gets me pumped.
I think if you reference like how it was in the 70s and 80s, and especially like when hardcore first like kind of started to form, I think like back then there was an air of activism and like a different sort of like platform for like I guess like politics or like revolt. And now it's like, I don't know, it seems like, you know, especially like in the United States, like the government has like a harder clampdown on people trying to be active or be activists, you know, and speaking out, especially with, you know, bullshit like Homeland Security and like things like that would like, I guess like land someone in jail for something pretty petty. So, you know, I think for one, I mean, the lyrical content has to maybe be more obscure or something. It can't, you know, I don't think we like could straight up like come out and like say certain things without being flagged. I'm pretty sure like we're all probably flagged on some kind of like list or whatever, but
and why would that be, Justin? Or just,
I mean, I think that just
the commentary within the music.
I don't know. I mean, for me personally, I mean, when I was 16, I started working with the Revolutionary Communist Party, and I'm not a communist and I don't work with them, but I know that I was on a list at that point. I had been investigated by the FBI for even working with Food Not Bombs, right. You know, and that's just feeding the homeless. So it's like that was a long time ago, and that was 20 years ago actually. So now, I mean, it's even harder, I think, for people to be active.
Growing up in Los Angeles back in the old days, it was a pretty rough place. It was pretty lawless, and the music was like thriving, like especially through the 90s.
Yeah.
Like there was so much going on. There were so many awesome bands, and it was a lot of really aggressive music was going on. I know that's when I met Justin. You know, he was doing fucking awesome bands in San Diego, and it was the same kind of energy. You know, people were just like, "Fuck, dude, it's scary out. It's
right.
Crazy. Things are fucked up."
Yep.
So it's still like that. I mean, you know, but that's definitely one thing that has always propelled me, you know, in playing. It's just like you just sit down with your instrument, whatever it is, and something's gonna come out, you know, reflecting how you feel or what's going on.
You're playing music or you're getting into, you know, I don't know, sports or whatever you want to, or even fashion or whatever, like if you get into it because this is what's cool, you're gonna, even if you land it, you know, on a successful level, you're gonna burn out or gonna fade out before, you know, it even started. But I think if you're honest and you do what comes from your heart, it'll stand the test of time. And absolutely. Maybe you don't like benefit, you know, monetarily from it, but like, you know, that's the kind of stuff that, like, to me, going back to influences, you look back and that's what like a legend is made of, you know. I mean, not to sound weird or to put someone in that perspective, and the word legend or even like rock star is so skewed. But like last night, you know, like a good friend of mine came to our show, Eric Wood, and to me he is in a sense legendary, you know, and not like he's on a pedestal because he's approachable and he's just like all of us, but you know, he's one of those kind of people that like, dude, he paved the way for some of the weirdest shit out there, and I think that shows that he stood the test of time. Definitely, like if you think about society, especially American culture, I mean, it's very violent, and it feeds off of that. You know, that's what sells. That's what sells really in Los Angeles. Like, you know, you have the LAPD arresting gang members and dropping them off in rival gang neighborhoods. Just I mean, that's crazy shit, and that's factual.
Yeah.
No wonder there's, you know, ongoing problems in Los Angeles with gangs. It's like they're kind of feeding that.
Or what just happened in Fullerton, you know, with those cops beating that mentally ill guy to death.
Get aspects of Europe and stuff where people fucking take to the streets and like will fuck you up.
Right.
Like they'll burn your cop car down, dude.
Right.
You know, like, not that I think that's cool and progressive, but like I understand it, you know, and the fact that people have a say, you know, or at least more of a say than I think in America. Like, man, I think there's a huge factor of like people being scared, and then there's also the people being lazy factor.
I just want to say thanks. I appreciate the music, and from what I've heard from it, I mean, it sounds massive to me. I mean, I was like, wow, I want to go check these guys out.
Thanks, man.
And check you guys out live.
Thank you.
I'll get some footage from you guys.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks so much.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.